We're talking about match itself, but I think we need to get the players out here and get themselves ready to get the first series underway of the day of the upper bracket semi-final. So let's get them out. It's none other than RAPHA and VENGEUR. Against each other in the upper bracket final and the grand finals. Slightly closer in the upper bracket final, but entirely different story in the grand finals at the Foundry, wasn't it?
Yeah, the grand finals, RAPHA just did not let up. He went all in and he was playing at 110%, and VENGEUR seemed a little bit shaky. But now it seems like VENGEUR has found a new life, so to speak, and especially with this new map pool. VENGEUR seemed a little bit certain about what maps RAPHA wanted to pick, but he didn't seem so certain about the maps he himself wanted to pick and drop.
That's going to be the question, isn't it? Because VENGEUR, we all know and love him for his creativity in the game, his commitment to fights, his extremely lack of hesitation. There's a couple of players out there where that 1 or 2 seconds can actually cost them or to seal the deal with some of the frags. But with his full commitment and how fast he makes some of these decisions, it can throw some of his opponents off.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the biggest quality about VENGEUR is his sense of opportunity. He plays usually defensive, but as soon as he finds an opportunity, he just goes in, he explodes onto the enemy player, and with his great aim, he usually makes a frag.
Yeah, he certainly does. His aim skill is, bar none, one of the best in the league right now, and here it's just been continuing on with his impressive stature here. Not just his aim skill, but like I said before, his creativity, his decisions that he makes, his full commitment to some of the battles, and be able to take him out right now and again. And we're going to see if we can find any elements of that. It is very early here today, so you know we could find some surprises. We did see the odd, incorrect movements from a lot of these players actually, which has been a little bit of a surprise factor. But
little
now,
not too serious. Yeah. With the best frag of the tournament on himself.
Oh, on that crucible one. Yeah, that was... see, I don't know what excuse I could make for that.
I don't think there is one. His excuse was, I don't know the map that well.
That is true. Like, it's not something... Well, the way he fell, I didn't actually expect it to be on that one segment.
Yeah. But I mean, at least he found it funny as well.
Yeah. The funny bit is, like, on his cam, he just laughed and just went and just shook his head. So he laughed and went, yeah, I'm an idiot. But the thing is, it didn't affect his mental at all because he was down 3-1 at a time and then tied things up. It just cracked on as normal, as well as just another day. Like he's he's done it 1,000 times.
Hopefully he hasn't fallen off maps 1,000 times.
Well, he seems like felt like he's done it before. It's only he's not in the tournament, but I think he did place top 8, I believe.
Yeah,
because he obviously played against Maxter. So.
We watched this game on the secondary streams yesterday. He had a pretty good game versus Strong Sage, where he was just hitting absolutely everything.
Standard.
On Awoken as Visor versus Strong Sage as Athena. It was a very entertaining game, and then he went versus Maxter, and sadly he couldn't beat Maxter, so he placed top 8. Still a really good result.
Yeah, it was a great result. And the picks and bans will be coming up live shortly before your very eyes chat, so I know everyone watching, stand guard, don't worry, it will be coming up. Yeah, bear with us just a few moments as we will get those picks and bans up shortly. And the bans are going to be very interesting. We talked a little bit about that in the intro with Exile and Crucible playing a crucial part with the whole pick your poison scenario where they're not just going to ban their best maps outright. We'll have to see how this goes if they decide to just ban those 2 maps in particular because of the experience on it.
Yeah, VENGEUR seemed pretty certain RAPHA was just going to ban Deep Embrace right off the bat, so we'll have to see if that happens. And VENGEUR seemed a bit uncertain if he wanted to ban Crucible, if he wanted to ban Exile, if he wanted to pick one of them for himself, so we'll see. Yeah,
we'll definitely see. And I would like to see Crucible played at this high level. I'm curious to see what they do differently with the rotations and everything else. And it looks like the picks and bans are coming through, and Crucible and Exile are banned straight away, which is quite puzzling because the first 2 days we've seen a lot of it. Corrupted Keep is going to be coming up first by RAPHA. These picks and bans are coming up super quick, and VENGEUR straight away with Deep Embrace.
Because both of these players decide, I'm not going to ban my opponent's favorite map. I'm just going to ban the map I don't want to play, and I'm going to pick my best map. So we're going to see RAPHA on his best map, which is Corrupted Keep, and VENGEUR on his best map, which is Deep Embrace, and then the final map will be Awoken.
So it's going to be...
and Blood Covenant and Sarnat in the middle as well, because I forgot, now we start the best of 5s.
That's right. Just to give everyone an update at home, we know it's been best of 3s for the first couple of days, but today all the matches are going to be a best of 5 apart from the grand finals, which will be a best of 7, but the player who comes from the upper bracket will have that one map advantage.
An Anarchy for Wenger to start with, so RAPHA will not have a movement advantage in the first map. He might go with a Strog. I guess that would be probably the best pick to still have some movement.
Yeah, that will make a lot of sense. So we're not going to get the standard Ranger versus Strog matchup, but we're going to have the Anarchy versus the Strog instead. So let's see how Wenger's going to feel on Deep Embrace. What is he going to ban first?
This is hard because he cannot ban Athena or Slash, or RAPHA will just pick one of them. So he just has to leave them both up. Maybe ban something else for the next map. He bans Athena, so RAPHA is likely just going to pick Slash, and Wenger will have to go with the Doom. I'm not sure what I think about that pick. I don't like giving RAPHA a movement advantage because he just destroys you. Oh, RAPHA goes with the Doom.
Okay.
So Wenger has to go with a Slash.
Straight away, didn't hesitate at all.
Yeah, I don't know.
And that's the majority of the mobility of the champions gone, really. So
that is interesting, though. So RAPHA not having a movement advantage in 2 straight maps.
But he did remove the Doom, so it can't be taken on Blood Covenant as well, because that does get selected quite often when some of the mobile champions have been.
But that's another movement advantage.
Visor versus Nyx again.
That's another movement advantage for Wenger. I gotta say, I never see RAPHA picking the less mobile champion in a matchup, and now he's done it 3 times in a row. My prediction right off just goes to Wenger right now. I think he's gonna win 3-0.
Yeah, this is actually quite crazy.
It's not going to happen.
Coming up from RAPHA, and Wenger is going to be having a little bit of a think to see what is still available.
It might not happen, but this is what I think. With these picks, Wenger has the potential to win 3-0.
And honestly, Awoken is anyone's guess. The Clutch is banned. Just checking out now. The Sorlak has been banned, so we've still got the Death Knight available as well.
And Scale Bearer, if anyone decides to go for it. Death Knight has been a pretty big champion in this LAN, but I guess a lot of it is boosted due to Crucible.
Crucible's upped the pick rate massively, hasn't it? And it's going to be
Eisen as well.
Death Knight versus the Eisen. Yeah, the champion picks are quite heavily in the favour of Wenger.
I do believe so. I gotta say, Eisen was not picked once during the Foundry, so it's nice to see Eisen at least picked once here.
Well, it wasn't really too much left, was it?
When analyzing RAPHA's picks, usually I like to say that his philosophy is to have the most mobile champion in a matchup, but looking at these picks, I don't think he has the most mobile champion on any match. He might, like Strog versus Anarchy is probably the least advantageous matchup for Wenger in the first 3, but I think Wenger has the advantage in the champions pick.
He really does. Even having the Galena on Ruins, we knew that it was going to go majority of the medium champions on Ruins and Blood Covenant apart from the Nyx, but the fact that he's got the Nyx on Blood Covenant, he's got the Slash on Deep Embrace, and even just selecting the Anarchy just to throw RAPHA off a little bit on Corrupted Keep. But I'm also worried if it goes to a map number 5, because that Death Knight versus the Eisen, it's going to be tricky.
Even map number 4, you know, Sarnat is not a map that RAPHA likes to play a lot.
No.
I think all of this just goes in favor of Wenger. Lethal prediction. I'm going to say 3-1 to Wenger.
I'm going to say 3-2 to Wenger, because of the champion choices with the Death Knight versus the
You know the worst part
Eisen.
about this is that after RAPHA wins 3-0, we're just going to be left wondering, why do we keep underestimating RAPHA?
Yeah, why do we keep going against him when it's clearly... But it'll be quite worrying for a lot of the players watching this matchup. If RAPHA still wins after these champion choices, they're going to think, well, what else I can do?
There's no hope left for anyone if RAPHA wins with these champions.
This is absolutely well, don't get me wrong, I expect some of those champion choices during the last couple of maps, like, you know, the BG versus Galena, I understand that because most of the champions have already been banned and selected in the first 3. Of course, the last one as well. I think Wenger having the Death Knight's going to be huge for him going up against the Eisen. That's if we even get that far, which would not surprise me. But let's kick things off. The first series of the day in the upper bracket semi-final, kicking things off with RAPHA versus Wenger. And we're going to be starting things off from RAPHA's perspective.
I like his start. Instead of going straight for the LG, went for the lower light armor. He already has the machine gun as well, punishing the very low stack Anarchy. Holding the high ground. He knows Wenger can really get in here due to the lighting gun and the heavy machine gun. Wenger doing some really good rocket damage though. I'm surprised that RAPHA didn't even try to use the LG yet.
Yeah, that is actually quite true. He was favouring that heavy machine gun, but it was still chipping away here and there.
So when can VENGEUR get his hands on the lightning gun? Because VENGEUR, as we know, he doesn't really make many defensive mistakes. He's just going to be biding his time until he can get that lightning gun. So far, it just seems like he's happy maintaining his distance, not really doing much. Oh, VENGEUR coming in now. Heavy about to spawn in 5 seconds. Are they going to fight for it or are they just going to trade? VENGEUR uses the injection, which shows RAPHA that he's ready to fight, and RAPHA just decides to back off.
Yeah, you can either go for the LG when he's got a decent stack advantage after a certain engagement, or you can go for it when RAPHA tries to contest a heavy. But of course, VENGEUR's not going to just leave the heavy outright to RAPHA just for the LG.
That's a good starting rocket, but VENGEUR manages to dodge it. Those stacks are really even. Heavy next up, and RAPHA, after a little bit of MG damage, positions himself for it. And VENGEUR moves close to it as well. So RAPHA, he will be taking it. No damage done to him by VENGEUR. VENGEUR, he didn't do damage on the heavy, and he didn't really get positioned on the Megas. That's going to be Mega going in the way of RAPHA as well. But the damage that VENGEUR is doing in between items seems to be enough to keep RAPHA stacked to a minimum. RAPHA now deciding to chase, doing a lot of damage to VENGEUR. VENGEUR surely not going to be able to stay alive after this. He does get the light armor, and he does get the health bubbles, but he will eventually go down. Not much stack left for RAPHA though.
Yeah, he hasn't really got much, well, I was going to say much LG ammo and heavy machine gun ammo.
I think VENGEUR rocketed himself.
I think he did, and he picked up, as RAPHA does pick up, that it is early in the morning though. That's what still just ease himself into this matchup. RAPHA is coming up 1-0. VENGEUR doesn't have any armor to his name. Heavy will be up in the next 17 seconds, but RAPHA does have the peeker, and he's going to be getting ready to contest that heavy, and rightly so he should. We'll be up in the next 10 seconds. Just waiting to see where VENGEUR could be. Has a feeling that he's hanging around the tri-bolt area, and VENGEUR isn't really going to attempt to go for that heavy. Just see if he can feed himself some information in order to know when the timing of that's going to be. But the heavy is still up, and I like this from RAPHA. Delayed it, but he actually takes nice to go for it, and that was a huge play from VENGEUR.
Yeah, he read that perfectly. He was waiting for RAPHA to make a move, and RAPHA's move was to go for the yellow before the heavy, and VENGEUR just injection nothing, went for it. He's taking a lot of damage from the peeker though. He has nothing to play with right now. He still hasn't been able to get an LG, and it's almost 3 minutes in. That's going to be kill number 2 for RAPHA.
105 damage with that peeker. Now he's going to make it a third frag to his name. And it's not the best of starts here as VENGEUR.
Is he going to get the LG? No. He knows that if he goes there, he will die. Now he has the time to get it. Okay, there he is. VENGEUR at 3 minutes and 18 seconds finally gets an LG for the first time.
Look at the stack difference as well. VENGEUR just trying to get out and rock in a hard place. RAPHA does have that peeker. Still keeping the items in check with his rotations. Does find him, and that's the problem so far. RAPHA just feeds himself information consistently across the board, but always staying in close proximity just to make VENGEUR feel uncomfortable. Does back away again, but this is VENGEUR's job right now, just to try and not only go back to his default stack, but maybe have to do a bit of chip here and there, but that was a good rocket to start things off.
Yeah, and the movement advantage going in the way of VENGEUR means RAPHA has a hard time catching him. So if VENGEUR ever gets a small advantage, I'm sure we'll see some of that explosive gameplay from VENGEUR. Oh no, speaking of explosive, there's a rocket to the face.
Yeah, VENGEUR just waiting for him to make him, like, you know, just a minor mistake with the items. Good damage, nice 69 from RAPHA there with that previous rocket. Just a couple of shots with that heavy machine gun will do it, but VENGEUR still stuck around that corridor.
Thought he was dead.
Yeah, that's going to be, and he picks up the heavy, Mega's up in 3 seconds, and RAPHA won't mind it. He may be able to be proactive to finish VENGEUR off and pick up this Mega, which he will be able to miss it, a shotgun shot, and look at the amount of damage he did though.
Can VENGEUR get here in time? I don't think so. And he has some armor at least, and he got the injection, so he might be able to fight despite having no weapons. It would be good for him to make a push at the Mega, at the heavy, but RAPHA reading that perfectly, already positioned not to let VENGEUR do anything there. Oh, he takes so much damage. Look, RAPHA just completely punishing VENGEUR perfectly, as we expect from the world champion. Not a mistake in sight. Finally some damage by VENGEUR. He can actually get this kill. It still doesn't get it. RAPHA very low. That was VENGEUR's map.
It's been the story of VENGEUR's life so far. Got him low on 2 or 3 occasions, but haven't been able to clean things up. Even considering these attack differences, which both players have previously had. 5.5 minutes in. Currently 6-0. VENGEUR still trying to find that first frag, but RAPHA's been playing it extremely clean. There's not really been a moment where RAPHA felt like he was out of control.
And there's a chance for VENGEUR, but he does 20 plus 20 with his shotgun damage. Not really what he was expecting. A good shotgun blast could have given him an opening to the game, but sadly for him, he missed both.
We had the tri-bar at the time, but let's get away. Wait for that line, but a little bit more damage with that tri-ball.
But RAPHA is still so stacked, and he's going to be able to get the heavy. VENGEUR finds himself something, so not too bad. Also has the injection up, but he does not have the LG. He does get the Mega though. I'm not sure how much more he can do with what he has right now. Because not having the LG on the snap or the heavy machine gun really limits your options a lot. And with 3.5 minutes to go, VENGEUR just has to start playing a little bit more risky. Finally finds the LG and the HMG. And now we're going to see a more aggressive VENGEUR shortly.
We will.
Okay, RAPHA, he's going for the heavy. I'm not sure he's going to be on time for the Mega. Never mind, it's RAPHA. He always is. Oh, and VENGEUR rockets himself again. Does rocket RAPHA after, but he does not really have much tech.
Does have to inject, not picking up the light. RAPHA knows he's going to go for it at some stage.
Okay, this is good. This is VENGEUR's last chance, pretty much. With 6 frags down, he needs to get the next kill. And he almost gets it. Surely chasing to the TP, and he'll be getting that kill. So VENGEUR, that's the start of his comeback. And now, let's not forget, he does have a small movement advantage. So after getting this heavy, he should be able to get to the Mega on time and keep it going. Oh, he's taking the long route. RAPHA will just be stealing that Mega, not really caring much, and VENGEUR does not have enough LG ammo to hold his position.
Yeah, and he did a little bit, but I was expecting a little bit more considering the situation that VENGEUR placed himself in. But this, again, the stack difference is trying to back away. Does have the inject, has recovered a little bit of those health bubbles around the heavy machine gun. It's going to be circulating around. RAPHA just standing top mid, holding his ground, but now rotating over to the heavy. But the Mega will be up a few seconds afterwards. RAPHA won't be able to get the Mega, but at least he may have the chance to contest it. But VENGEUR still thinking he's there. He's going to miss it again.
No. Good MG damage, but any trade on damage, it goes completely in favor of RAPHA. And RAPHA can't even pick up the light armor. He's just waiting for VENGEUR to do damage to him so that he can bucky, so then he can pick it up.
Yeah, that's when you know things are getting bad. He's going to dive on in. VENGEUR gets good damage with the rockets, but RAPHA's just equal the damage count. Spawns in the red room. RAPHA's picked up the heavy.
It's supposed to be early in the morning, but RAPHA is playing perfect. I've not seen one mistake from RAPHA.
He's acting as though he's been playing 12 hours straight and it's 2 AM. Get ready for the next game. It's just absolute madness. 1.5 minutes left remaining, but with 7 frag deficit, it's going to be a real struggle for VENGEUR. He needs now to just overextend for all of these bouts, and he has done, but again, falling short.
Yeah, all VENGEUR needed was an opportunity to get back into the game, but RAPHA never really granted one. Just perfect plays after perfect plays. Timing was spot on, positioning was spot on, damage was spot on. It's just RAPHA.
Yeah, it's like I mentioned earlier, there wasn't really too many elements we can indicate where we felt like he was out of control. Does get with a few rockets, but still gets taken down with a shotty. 45 seconds left, but I must say this is a dominant start to the series by RAPHA, and things could still certainly change in this series. We'll talk about the champion picks. With this one, RAPHA still had to struggle, but the other picks have been quite interesting.
And this is just RAPHA giving a message to anyone still left in the tournament. VENGEUR had not lost the map up until this stage, and RAPHA just makes it look easy with the 11-1 and not really under any pressure whatsoever.
Just another day in the office. Literally.
Yeah, for RAPHA it really is.
And we have it. First map in the upper bracket semi-final between RAPHA and VENGEUR, and RAPHA will take it quite comfortably 12-1. Not really barely any mistakes coming up from RAPHA. Always pile on the pressure, even if it's the smallest amounts, just being in close proximity just to really keep the pressure on to VENGEUR. And with the item control, I was very curious. You can see there 29 items picked up by RAPHA, only 8 by VENGEUR, even picking up more lights than him.
Yeah, even the VENGEUR had 2 megas, RAPHA had 16. So RAPHA, as we could see, VENGEUR barely had any LG usage that game. VENGEUR barely got the mega. or the heavy machine gun. RAPHA just perfectly controlling the game, not giving VENGEUR an inch.
What do you feel like VENGEUR could have done a bit differently in order to try and chip away at the stack and try and contest some of his items better?
He could have had a better spawn at the start.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the only thing I see that could have happened better, because RAPHA just played that perfectly from his point of view. Maybe VENGEUR could have tried to be a bit more aggressive. The only time I saw VENGEUR actually even make a mistake, because he wasn't really doing mistakes either. He just couldn't find a way in. It was when he had that shotgun opportunity. I think we're going to see in a second. Oh, it didn't result in a frag, so we're probably not going to see it in the highlights. But when he had that shotgun fight and he missed both of the shotguns.
Oh, you're talking about when he had a couple of 20 damages from the... Yeah.
That could have been a frag for him and control shift, but sadly for him, he failed to execute, and RAPHA just ran away with it.
He certainly did. Just going through the replays now. It was the RAPHA show, sadly, and VENGEUR feeling it a little bit, but it doesn't matter too much. It's not a best of 3. Remember, all these matches today will be a best of 5, apart from the grand finals, which will be a best of 7 with the one map advantage going to the player from the upper bracket. So still got plenty of time to adapt, adjust, and see how things are going to go next. It will be the Doomslayer versus the Slash, going on to, I believe, Deep Embrace from the top of my head.
Yeah, it's a big movement advantage for VENGEUR there. But, I mean, this one was a really small movement advantage, right? In terms of stack, there was barely any advantage, but this one should be a really big movement advantage for VENGEUR. And I still think he can take it. Yeah. I'm kind of starting to regret our predictions, but I still have faith in Kid Bellissimo.
Yeah, I've got a lot of faith. We're going to go to one of his best maps on Deep Embrace, and he's very well diverse with the Slash as well, with the variety of strategies he can use and bring to the table to really put him off. And the fact that the Doom has a little bit of mobility on his side, we'll see how RAPHA is going to compete against the Slash from VENGEUR. As we're now going to head into map number 2, Deep Embrace. Let's see if the scoreline's going to be entirely different, close. We'll find out shortly, as we're now going to start off with VENGEUR's perspective this time round, as he does pick up the nail, the rail, and already you can see now VENGEUR.
I like the machine gun usage, just putting pressure on RAPHA right out the start. He could even try to go further. Oh, but after that rail, no, and RAPHA just lands another one. Yeah, VENGEUR was kind of testing RAPHA's rail accuracy there, and RAPHA does not falter.
He certainly does not, as he does a lot of LG damage there already. 2-0. Only got a small amount of stack left, but of course with the starting stack of VENGEUR, he picks up the light straight away, as RAPHA has picked up the heavy.
And I think RAPHA's game plan in this map was going to be sort of the same. In RAPHA, just keep this position, the strongest weapon, the rail is behind him, and if VENGEUR wants to come in, he needs to make something crazy.
He's trying to catch him down the murder hole, but VENGEUR does get away. Picking up those health bubbles a minute in. Both items are only about just under a second apart. As RAPHA now just currently just going back to his default stack and recovering from the previous engagement.
Oh my god,
he's actually going to head back as well.
RAPHA even stealing VENGEUR's light armor, so he knows VENGEUR has no armor to play with, and one rail with VENGEUR in a very, very low stack.
Yeah, he can't really afford to take this fight either, and VENGEUR realizes this, he's dropped all the way back down.
And RAPHA, as soon as he sees VENGEUR move, he goes back to protecting that rail. He's just controlling everything he wants to control in the map. He doesn't care if VENGEUR gets the Mega, he just doesn't want to let him get any of the light armors or the rail or the heavy. VENGEUR making him play for the heavy though? Oh, he has to get out because he does not have enough stack. So back to the Mega. That was a good play by VENGEUR though, could have worked. And most importantly, he does not lose his life in the process. So he can try again in the next rotation. Next item up is going to be that top light, and RAPHA's already protecting it, while also protecting the rail. VENGEUR making a play for the rail, he does get it. Is he going to push through the B? Oh, he does, and that's a lot of damage in. He hits the rail, RAPHA forced to back off, finally.
So he's sitting back for now, running a little bit low on LG, and no tri-bolt, but that's not going to affect him too much here.
And now it comes the hard part for RAPHA. He's on a movement disadvantage, and VENGEUR just... How does he miss that rail? VENGEUR! That was a big rail to miss there. He needs the frag, or RAPHA is not going to make this clean at all. And RAPHA is the one hitting the shots now. VENGEUR at that rail was a big miss from him.
Yeah, that could have been the game changer here. Just hopefully the 3-minute mark.
Hopefully it doesn't affect him too much, because he knows he really needed to hit that shot. But he still has the movement advantage, and this is where RAPHA will maybe start feeling pressure. The VENGEUR starts using it. And there it is. There's the movement speed. Wenger should just switch the weapon and get an easy kill.
He knows his opportunities will come, and he's just like playing a little bit more patiently now. 2 for 2 straight away. Wenger's looking a lot better compared to what we've seen during those first couple of minutes. Now knows that RAPHA is directly underneath him. There's a tickle damage from underneath. Wenger just trying to stay alive. Heavy has been picked up. Mega's up in the next few seconds. He's in position, but he's going to try and recover a little bit of his health first before now trying to contest for this Mega. And even just getting at least one rail win is going to be huge for him. And now managed to hit 2 more. Trying to get another one more to go for the Mega. Manages to hit it. Is so weak. Needs to try and chase him down. He has the mobility for it. Will he be able to? Still doesn't manage to hit it, but again, he manages to get away. Still round top mid and still somehow still alive here.
It's very important that Wenger chases this kill because RAPHA got that rail for free and Wenger knows he cannot let him run away. That's why RAPHA even uses villages to try escape. Despite not really having a lot of more weapons are stacked, he knows that rail is very important. And Wenger, he's trying to chase, but RAPHA just constantly doing damage. Surely a kill. Oh, just as he was going to pick up the Mega. That's very important there by Wenger.
Millimeters away from that Mega.
Oh, another rail from
hits again, hits the rocket as well, but will he be able to clean him up? Yes, he does. Now Wenger's up 4 to 2. Was looking for that spawn rail, but decided to not use that discipline to hold the angle a little bit longer. Just going to rotate back around straight away and just prep for this heavy.
He hits a shot and RAPHA misses, so Wenger, that's an easy cue to go in again. Oh, it cannot hit his little toe. And there it is. That should be another kill. Oh, RAPHA gets a Mega this time. Right on time, and it's Wenger just hitting his shots today.
He was tempted, you can see, but instead goes for the rail as he drops back down again. 5 to 2, back-to-back frags as he was down 2 to 0 at the very beginning. But I like this from Wenger. He's hitting more of his shots. He's been a lot more patient. He's a lot more disciplined. He knows the opportunities will come with his mobility, and he's doing just that. As RAPHA has picked up the heavy, and now just picking up the rail as well. Hits his first shot. Super important for RAPHA to get back in this matchup from that last rail.
Especially since he got the heavy as well. So RAPHA now on the big stack advantage. And Wenger just has to use his mobility to go for as many rail angles as possible. He basically needs to play like Strong Stage a little bit right now. Don't take LG fights. LG fights do not favor you right now, Wenger. You need to go for those rail angles. LG fights are the worst kind of fights to take when you have less stack.
Heavy's been picked up. The items are heavily out of sync. As we're just 5.5 minutes in, as Wenger taking with the LG a little bit. LG fight coming out. Wenger does a tiny sack advantage and he will go in at full force. Full commitment as he'll pick up the Mega and she wants to get another frag here, depending on the shotgun shot, and looks like Wenger will add another one to the tally now, 7 to 3. With that 4 frag lead. Heavy's coming up in the next 5 seconds. He is available, so he should, well, could have gone through the TP, but doesn't want to take the risk as RAPHA is already there with the rockets. He's going to be backing away once again as Wenger just trying to stay alive at this point, and will he be able to sneakily picks up the hellbolt directly in front of him, and the rocket is going to clean up Wenger there, making it the full frag. Could make it the 5th if he hits one more, and Wenger swiping the flying on down whilst he uses the LG. Does take him down again, back-to-back frags. 4 minutes left and only a 2 frag deficit now for RAPHA to climb from.
Yeah, RAPHA's rails have been on right now, and Rami's gotta be a little bit worried for this trophy.
Yeah, I think Dramis is safe.
Wenger though still with the advantage, but RAPHA just keeps landing these shots, and every shot he hits Wenger just matters so much more than Wenger's rails, because Wenger needs to hit 3 rails just to even up the stacks.
Oh, he just barely managed to get away from that. No, he does not. Railed again. Could be a matter of time until Wenger has been cleaned up to offer RAPHA that 6th frag, and he's even taken one of the health bubbles from the murder hole as well as the Mega. This is really worrying. He just needs to bide his time on the side. What rotation to make? And he tries to get away directly underneath him. Doesn't manage to, but luckily for him, RAPHA doesn't hit that spawn rail.
Yeah. Let's see if Wenger can actually get some stack to play with, as RAPHA is controlling all of the armors in the map and also the Mega health. He's just being RAPHA. And yet another rail hit by RAPHA. Good opportunity by Wenger, but with RAPHA controlling all of the armors, any fight is a lost fight.
Yeah, he knew he was in a really hard position, so he just had to commit to that fight and just get as much damage done before being cleaned up, so that's understandable. Still no armor to Wenger.
After this heavy by RAPHA, there's going to be the 8th item in a row. Yesterday he made it 13, I believe.
Yeah, something silly like that.
He knows the light below is the next item, so he wanted Wenger to do a little bit of damage, but seems Wenger will not be trying to do damage there. So light armor is still up now, and RAPHA knows Wenger cannot take it. So he's going for a little bit of fight. Maybe he'll go back for the light armor, but VENGEUR should try to let RAPHA get this heavy and pick up the light armor himself, and he almost dies. Just cruising through. Okay, that's fine. RAPHA still making sure he gets the other armor just before the heavy, and VENGEUR has gotten 1 light armor while RAPHA has gotten 13 items. That is not a good stack difference, but VENGEUR somehow still doing the damage. He dies, but he does so much damage to RAPHA. This is a good chance now for VENGEUR.
Yeah, RAPHA's had some good reads, but now the stack's a little bit more even. VENGEUR's actually...
Can he defend the heavy? Because this light armor is going to be 2 to 3 seconds before the heavy. RAPHA decides not to go for it, decides to keep the stack, get the 100 armor, and let VENGEUR get the heavy. That rail could have made things really bad for VENGEUR. And he gets caught off guard there a little bit. Needs to do some damage to get out. Not sure if RAPHA is going to allow him.
Pick up the Mega in the end, only a minute 10 left remaining, and VENGEUR's just trailing behind by only 1 frag, but the rail was quite good there from VENGEUR previously, just holding that top mid position, see if he can get one more, manages to do it on 27 HP, as RAPHA is going to try and get away, finds him, tries to punch him, but still able to stay alive on 77 HP, picks up the light, won't be available anymore.
How did he get away?
Honestly.
I thought that was VENGEUR's frag. That's another shot, another great opportunity that VENGEUR missed in that rail, the pixel rail by RAPHA.
Oh, that was a huge blow there. Sadly for VENGEUR, as he'd got railed as he's going across from the heavy. 35 seconds left, still has some time to play with, to recover and then to re-engage, or have time to get that chip damage. Only a tickle there from that previous rocket. Is VENGEUR now is going to definitely commit to this next fight once he's picked up the heavy, as he will manage to. What rotation he's going to make? He's going to catch in front of the DLG. He's going to do as much damage as possible. Not really too much from RAPHA from those previous 2 rockets. He has picked up the light to recover, but VENGEUR needs to push this. He's only on 15 seconds left remaining. He's trying to find it. He's picked up all the lights. He's back to his default stack. Where is VENGEUR? Where is he going to go? He's directly above RAPHA right now. Gets a little bit with DLG, but he needs to push this now. Just hits to the rail. Doesn't hit him in the end, and that is going to be it, as RAPHA takes the 2nd map in a row in this best of 5.
Yeah, and VENGEUR's gotta be feeling bad, because he missed 1 crucial shot at the beginning with the rail, and then at the end, and when RAPHA kind of fumbled with his doom punch, VENGEUR was not able to kill him. But we see VENGEUR putting an enormous amount of pressure over RAPHA due to the movement advantage. But if even like this, no one can take a map out of RAPHA.
Did you see the lights?
Yeah.
24 to 10 lights. Okay, he had
just
more
RAPHA
major
controlling
items,
everything, despite not having the movement advantage. Just continues playing perfect.
And the reads he was making, the predictive rockets he had, everything, it just added to a nice collective package. Just going back through the replays here on Deep Embrace in map number 2, where VENGEUR, again, you know, not the best of starts. He was down 2-0. It was got 5 frags in a row, was looking pretty hot at one stage, until then RAPHA just turned it up a gear once he got full map control.
Yeah, VENGEUR, that was probably his best chance to taking a map so far. And he did fumble with his accuracy, with his rails like a little bit during the middle, and at the end there, he's not going to be feeling good about that. He definitely could have taken that map. But that was still a great showing by VENGEUR. I think he's putting RAPHA into more pressure than we've seen in a good while.
Yeah, definitely. Even though he's down 2-0 in the series, VENGEUR is going to feel a little bit better about how he performed in that map compared to on Crux to Keep. The problem is his best map is now out of the question.
Yeah, if that was VENGEUR's best map and he had a really good movement advantage there, I'm scared for everyone else in this tournament right now. Yeah.
Not really too much of a surprise here, as we just still continue to go through the replays to see exactly what occurred throughout this match. Frustration from both players here and there with some of the decisions they were both making. There was definitely a couple of moments where VENGEUR could have definitely taken the map and taken back control, but again, the reads that RAPHA was making during that map dominance with the item rotations really putting VENGEUR in a really uncomfortable position. And even if he hit this rail, it would have been close.
Yeah, he needed to get the kill like 10 seconds before that.
As we're just waiting on the players to get ready shortly, we'll be going into map number 3, which I believe from the top of my head is Blood Covenant.
Yeah, it's going to be Nyx by VENGEUR versus Visor by RAPHA on Blood Covenant. Again, small movement advantage by VENGEUR, but we saw that worked out just now. So let's see how he performs there. It's going to be another... VENGEUR will be trying to hit as many rails as possible. Yeah. We'll have to see how RAPHA plays that one out. He uses the Visor just to try and counter Nyx's invisibility, so maybe VENGEUR will have to try to be a bit more aggressive with his Ghost Walk usage. We'll have to see how he decides to play that out, but a lot of it is going to come down to on whether the VENGEUR can hit his shots or not.
Yeah, it's going to be the question in everyone's mind right now, especially his. As it will be Blood Covenant coming up next. Afterwards it will be Ruins, map number 4, if we get that far, and map number 5 will be on the Woken with that crazy Death Knight versus Eisen matchup bit. But, okay, if you're in VENGEUR's situation now, you're 2-0 down, you know, a lot of people will just go, yeah, take it one map at a time. Yeah, that's common sense.
That's what you have to do, right?
In this situation, he needs to keep telling himself he does have a slight advantage in terms of the movement mechanics in all 3 of his maps. Maybe not, of course, on map number 5, but still an advantage one way or another with that Death Knight.
Yeah, I think more than taking one map at a time, VENGEUR now has to take one rail at a time.
Yeah.
Just to build up his confidence, try to hit his shots, because he knows, like, as soon as VENGEUR gets his confidence back and starts hitting a couple of shots, he becomes a whole different player. And right now, RAPHA has not been really giving him the chance to hit those shots.
Yeah, the only times he's given them a chance is when he was contesting the Mega from the bottom and VENGEUR was top mid, just waiting to take that first shot to take his time and then be able to hit some of these rails here and there, which did really well. Like, not too shabby at all. So, Blood Covenant, Visor versus Nyx. What's your thoughts on this one? I know that we both predicted 3-1, 3-2. Well, we know it's not going to be 3-1, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we knew that the prediction was going to be for VENGEUR, but we knew RAPHA was going to prove us wrong. It's just nice to cheer for the underdog, right? And everyone's the massive underdog when going against RAPHA.
Even as a top 2 or top 3 player
it's
of
always
the game, you're still an underdog.
Exactly, because RAPHA is just at the top and no one else is close.
Yeah, definitely showing as RAPHA has returned and getting ready to set back up for map number 3, Blood Covenant, Visor versus Nyx, as VENGEUR will be rocking the Nyx. RAPHA with that Visor, we'll have to see how things are going to go. It's not as mobile this time round. We know that the Anarchy's gone, the Slash is gone. I think the Athena was banned, wasn't it, on that second map? Yes. So not as mobile champions as he once had in these next 3 maps, but we're sure it's going to be an absolute treat for us, and I hope you're all getting loud and proud and chat in this first series of the day. Let's see if VENGEUR can bring it back and turn into a start of a reverse sweep, or if RAPHA will put a stomp to that and end this series 3-0 outright. We'll find out soon, as now we're going to be kicking things off from RAPHA's perspective with that Visor to see exactly what he's going to be up to at the very get-go of Blood Covenant.
Right off the bat, the perfect start from RAPHA. He decides to go over to the LG to then make his way onto the rocket launcher, knowing he has enough time, unless VENGEUR would make a really aggressive move to the railgun right off the bat. But he got all the information he wants, and he still has the rail, so RAPHA knows he can just fall back into it if the LG fight doesn't go his way, as it doesn't. Can he try to land the rail? He does try to go for it, does not land the shot though, because that Nyx is quite skinny. Now finally VENGEUR getting the rail of his own, and now we can begin with the rail duels. VENGEUR, well, seems he's gonna win the first rail duel, but he does not have the rockets. He got too close without needing to, and now he's forced to fall back a little bit. Heavy spawning soon, and RAPHA, wow, he got that light and he rocket jumped up just to not lose the position on the heavy. And VENGEUR, I'm not sure he's even gonna check the heavy. Oh, wow, that is a high IQ level by VENGEUR, because RAPHA went there to fake the heavy sound and go back to the Mega, and VENGEUR was like, you were a second too early coming back here, the heavy might still be up. That is absolute great mind games from both players, really high level Quake, great rocket.
Good direct coming up from VENGEUR, just holding his ground. Hits the first rail, looking for the second. Will he be able to hit it? Yes, he does. One more will do it. 3 for 3, but RAPHA gets away. How long for? Will he get him through that cross? Waiting for it to do it. Oh, literally, the discipline was so good, but barely a couple tenths of a second.
Now, these players are playing at 5,000 elo right now.
Yeah.
They both know what each other wants to do. They're countering each other perfectly. VENGEUR, can he do any damage there? He knows exactly where RAPHA is. He does land that shot somehow. But the heavy is also up. VENGEUR might not just go for the Mega. Yep, there he goes. He knows what RAPHA wants to do. He just goes, protects the position. RAPHA goes back for the rail, for the Mega even. But VENGEUR, he's just controlling RAPHA's position right now. Can he get the finishing blow though? He's still, like, VENGEUR's controlling RAPHA's position, but he's not being able to get the kill because RAPHA's defensive game time is also really, really good.
I like this from RAPHA as well. Even though he's been at a positional disadvantage for the majority of the last minute to 90 seconds, he's just assuming or having an educated guess but VENGEUR could be at every perfect angle possible, and he has been. So you can see him Ferrari peeking here and there around the pillars. He's giving it a lot of time before he crosses over to the LG. Little things like this is making a huge impact in his gameplay and in this match, as RAPHA does get away with that mega. He gets the rail as well. He needs to be very careful. I was a little bit worried at one stage. The heavy will be picked up by VENGEUR. Greeted by the rail from RAPHA. He misses his second, but at least he hit the first. Expects him to drop on down, but you see, just takes it and just backs off straight away.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing at the grand final level right now, and this is only the first game of today. And the players are already so dialed in even.
Both just going to get a few steps ahead. Good first rail coming up from VENGEUR. Back over onto the rocket bridge, and now he's just waiting to see on RAPHA's next move. He's going to go for the TP. Both of them don't trade rails. VENGEUR got a very important first rail just to help himself even stack a little bit more. But after picking up that heavy, it's going to be a little bit different, as the items are quite segregated, which means that VENGEUR can now be in a position to contest that mega and eventually, or hopefully for his sake, be able to rotate these items and get full map control.
They're both guessing each other's moves so well. Reading each other like a book, countering each other perfectly. Again, VENGEUR knows where RAPHA's gonna appear, RAPHA knows where VENGEUR's gonna be. And it's just a matter of who's hitting the shots, and right now they're just trading blows. And none of them have had a clear advantage until RAPHA hit those 2 rails in a row. So now the momentum shifts a little bit in favor of RAPHA. So VENGEUR will be trying to play a little bit more defensive. He's also running out of rail ammunition. You'll have to pick that up, because there's no rail ammunition on this map except on the rail platform.
Yeah, I was just going to call about how he's got now. He realises he's got a heavy machine in his back pocket, but he's done so much damage with these rockets. Picks up the mega though, but he has no armour. But that rail, that last one from RAPHA, needs to try and back away. He's still continuing to do that. The light is available, luckily, down below. And we're at the halfway stage on this map. No frags to each other's names, but honestly, the mental games and the IQ from both his players, it's been such a joy to watch.
Not a very high fragging game, but definitely super high tech. Great counter by VENGEUR. He realizes this is the opportunity, but RAPHA counters it with the piercing side of his own.
5-minute warning.
Let's go for the mega, mind you. Still no rockets.
I don't
Only
like
one rail hits the one rail required.
I'm not sure if that was the best move by VENGEUR, because now he has no rails to fire back at RAPHA. Now he's getting out-railed, and RAPHA takes that opportunity. So one small mistake, which was not go for the rail immediately, just gave the game to RAPHA right there. 5 minutes in, RAPHA 2-0, and VENGEUR now the one on the back.
Back-to-back frags, using that piercing sight just to give him clear vision of what rotation VENGEUR is going to make. From down below, he's also running a little bit low on the LG, and Rubí catching with the LG as he's going towards the heavy, but I like that from VENGEUR. Didn't want to take this, carry on pushing, but again back-to-back rails coming up from RAPHA. Great shots coming out from him, now extending his lead by 3.
And the only thing we saw from VENGEUR was not even like the major mistake, just tiny mistake of 17 damage should have gone for the ammo. He didn't have rocket ammo or rail ammo, but instead he chose to stay there and try to get on the mega. Either way, it was going to be a loss, right? He would either let RAPHA go from the mega, or he would stay without ammo. He chose to do damage on the mega, and that was enough for RAPHA to win the situation. And now extend these fragments to 4. That's the level these players are playing at.
Taking him down so comfortably at such a vertical angle. Make up for the next 5 seconds. He's in position for it. VENGEUR's got 2 for 2 with those previous rails. Extremely important for him to get himself to come back. He's got time though. He's got 3 minutes 20 left on the clock. How he's going to go about it, that's going to be a different story. RAPHA does rock himself as he drops down towards the right onto the hourglasses. VENGEUR does find him, but he's going to have to take him. No, that defensive rail is going to be huge. A piercing sight comes out. VENGEUR realises that, yeah, it's all said and done. Needs to back away.
I think that's a little mistimed. RAPHA. Heavy is going to be up. He was expecting the mega to be up behind him. And now you realize, okay, that was the heavy timing, not the mega. He goes back for the mega. So correct his little timing hiccup immediately. And VENGEUR, the only way he has back into this game is hitting a lot of rails right now, because RAPHA's not really making any timing mistakes outside that minor hiccup. He's not doing any position mistakes, not doing any weapon selection mistakes, so it's all VENGEUR can do is hit rails. There's one. Any rail trade just goes in favor of RAPHA completely.
Yeah, just trading these rails back to back, hits him again.
left, and RAPHA, this is where he's gonna win the game, and he gets the kill, but okay, silver lining for VENGEUR. RAPHA is extremely low HP, and there's still a long time before the major act. VENGEUR just has to chase right now.
He has no choice, he's to be in top form now for the next couple of minutes if he wants to even stand a chance here, but given the lack of ability, you can use his ghost more aggressively. 2 for 2 in terms of rails, extremely important here.
Oh, he finds the spawn.
Finds him straight away.
Oh, and RAPHA gets a rail right off the spawn. That's worst case scenario for VENGEUR. And he knows he can't even go for the heavy, he has to keep going for the kills. He does hear the Mega, so now might be the time to get the heavy and minimize his losses. Oh, he forgets it. And RAPHA just going to punish him immediately. There's too long getting the heavy. Not sure he's gonna live to tell the tale. RAPHA, can he hit the shot? Okay, thankfully for VENGEUR, he can't, so we still have a game.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's gonna be all she wrote. He catches him and using that rocket. Really best clean up. No, he does not. RAPHA has taken him down with the LG 6-1 in favour with that 5 frag deficit.
And now that might be
close to impossible.
Oh, that's his last chance. There's the Mega. Just has to chase. Go for the best. You can see by his movement he's feeling a little bit frustrated right now because he had a lot of opportunities to do the previous maps, even this one, but could not really get them. Last minute, and that's it. That's
Not many.
That is going to be done, which means RAPHA does take the series 3-0, and you are right, there was opportunities there for VENGEUR to take maps 2 in 3.
I mean, I say there were opportunities, but because there were like 2 opportunities in 2 of the previous maps where that VENGEUR created, not really that RAPHA was taking mistakes. I only saw RAPHA do 1 timing hiccup in the last half an hour. That's it.
Yeah, statistically that's balmy from that standpoint, but that's all said and done, and there we have it. RAPHA wins his upper bracket semi-final 3-0 over VENGEUR, which means he'll be waiting for his next opponent in the upper bracket final, which will be either Saikib or Razy.
Yeah, and I gotta say, with those picks and with how well VENGEUR is playing, that should have been enough for VENGEUR to win versus anyone else in the world. But when you're going versus RAPHA, you're just playing great isn't enough, because RAPHA was playing perfect.
It was, and the rail percentages wasn't as bad as before. It's actually a lot closer than we expected. 43% coming up from RAPHA, 40% coming up from VENGEUR, and look at the damage really with the other weaponry. It's just, of course we knew it was going to be a very rail-heavy matchup anyway. 17 items for RAPHA and 16 for VENGEUR, so a lot better bullying in terms of the items, but again, 25 lights to 14.
Rami sighs in reliefs at the sight of those rail percentages.
A sigh of relief indeed as we just go for the replays here, and this is like one of the few moments here which VENGEUR could have pushed on in, but of course with that piercing sight, there's a good complement to counter that to stop him from any aggressive ghost walks, and it was just added to the frustration towards VENGEUR.
Yeah, that was the kill that RAPHA got due to VENGEUR deciding not to go for the rail ammo, and instead trying to do a little bit of damage. That minor decision cost him the game pretty much.
Yeah, and then as you can see, slowly things were adding up when he hit that first row and got that pixel shot onto VENGEUR along that heavy, just absolutely crazy in itself. And that vertical angle as well, once more, makes it look so easy.
You know, what I really want to know from RAPHA is why did he choose to play this game without any champion advantage, pretty much, movement-wise? I'm really curious to see if we get to hear that in the interview.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see you understand the champion choices about why he went about, how he went about it, and still managed to win it 3-0. And it's a worry for his next opponents, like considering, you know, we may say it's an advantage to his opponent from what the champions which were selected in that best of 5, but he might have his reasons for it.
I suppose so, because he usually tries to play with those movement champion advantages in the movement, but this time around, I don't think he had any single matchup in all of the 5 maps where any of his champions had a movement advantage. So I'm curious to hear his thoughts on the bigs and bans.
Yeah, I'm going to be very curious as well, as we do have an interview ready with Lyko, who's going to be interviewing RAPHA to find out his thoughts on that series.
Yeah, congratulations, RAPHA. You played VENGEUR a lot. Twice last week, actually. You beat him there. You beat him almost every time during QPL. I think you never lost to him. But is that your favorite opponent to play against?
He kind of reminds me with the playstyle that Cypher used to have. So playing him is always like really exciting. So I think it just brings a little something extra out of me to try to like to overcome him, because as you can see when he plays some of the other players, like they really struggle against him. And yeah, I just have to be playing my A+ game. As you could see, like even on Deep Embrace, like I thought I was going to lose the game. I thought, you know, with the lead that he had, that it was just going to be so hard to be able to catch him. But I don't know, I just stopped missing, you know. And when you don't miss, you know, then it's kind of hard to lose then.
Yeah, especially on Deep Embrace, I think it was the first map where it showed. During picks and bans, you usually aim for the faster champions, but here you kind of didn't really, apart from CK, I'd say. Did you do that like to create a need to rocket jump to cycle the lights better, or what was just the thought process picking these?
My thought process in the draft this time was to ban ahead and try to just leave like OP champs open for more 50-50 matchups, because I didn't want to, you know, pick something that's decent. Let's say like Doom is open on Deep Embrace and I pick it, but then he's so good with Clutch and Clutch is on the table, and then it's like the one counter where it's like super, super hard. So that's why I was like banning ahead there. And then as well for Blood Covenant, I think, yeah, I banned Ranger as well, so that, you know, nobody would play it on Blood Covenant or on Ruins, which was the next map, I think. Yeah, which would have been a really, really solid pick for him as well. So yeah, so that's what I was just focusing on, is more of the 50-50 stuff. And Doom's mobility isn't as good as Slash's, but it's still decent. So I just tried to pick champs where, like, you know, it was at least like pretty even in that regard. Whereas like Visor can match the dodging with Nyx compared to, let's say I'm playing like Galena or something, where then she has like a clear advantage in LG and MG fights all the time. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, and it worked, right? Especially on Blood Covenant, you were hitting crazy rails left, right, and center. Now your next opponent is either Razy or Saigib, who played lights out yesterday. Who are you going to prepare for those?
Oh, I'll just be watching the match and yeah, just seeing kind of the shape of both players. I expect Razy to win, but who knows? Maybe we'll see Saigib, you know, his ultimate form come out again, and maybe he'll create another upset. So, but yeah, I'll be watching the match closely and just kind of like thinking about how I want to draft. I think you have to think a little more ahead now, because, and I like that you only have 20 seconds to pick your maps and your champs. And I think it really makes you decisive on what your plan is and what you want to be. And yeah, I like it a lot.
Okay, thank you for your time, RAPHA, again, and good luck in the tournament. Yeah, with that, I'll send it back to Lethal and Nins.